This is Pleiades here for Treasure Box Press, here with an interview with the amazing Alexia. For everybody out there who doesn't know, tell us who you are, what you do, and what was the best part of your day.
Sure. So I am Alexia, or Ghost Girl of Ghost Girl Goods, my clothing brand here in Canada, and I make cool hip hop and pop style fusion clothing. Um, Today I didn't really do too much. I was actually working on my website, making some blog entries. Every Wednesday, I've been uploading a new blog as part of a mini series of mini interviews with other designers. So it's been really nice to be able to connect with people still, even though we're kind of trapped at home.
I was gonna say I noticed. Well, I watched your online fashion show, and
Oh, thank you.
immediately, listen. Immediately, what I was thinking is, I can't believe that she manages to stay motivated through this whole thing, because it is a task.
Yes,
Like,
it is. But I gotta try my best. So I'm pretty, I'm a pretty determined individual and I can't sit still. So I'm
good
always
combo.
moving.
And, just for reference, I mean, I know because obviously I did my homework, but, for the audience out there, what's your background? Like, just general life speaking. Where did you grow up?
Oh, so I've always been here in Ontario. I've moved around a couple times just within like the Toronto area. Um, but I went to college at a school called George Brown for fashion. And starting in grade 9, that's kind of when I figured out I wanted to do something with costumes because I got
Hmm,
into anime. So, I started
there we
getting
go.
into cosplay and then I started learning more about Japanese fashion. So, I was
Oh,
probably one of the only grade 9 students who was like, oh, well, I know what I want to do in college or university. So, I worked my way up up to grade 12, and then I finally got into George Brown College and I took 3 of their fashion programs, one of which was the fashion design program, and then the other 2 programs were more of the fashion business geared
hmm.
programs. So in total I finished 4 years of college and finished with full knowledge of fashion.
So here's my question: is that
Yeah.
obviously you have a talent for designing and patterns and all that, but what was it that specifically got you introduced to kawaii fashion?
Mm. So as I said, anime was what got me into Japanese culture.
Hmm,
So while I was kind of looking around at new anime, and then just on through Google searches and other different like websites that host like anime photos,
hmm,
I guess I started coming up to more like Japanese fashion photos, and the
hmm.
brand called 6% Doki Doki was one of the first brands that I
Mm.
heard of, especially when um, the singer Kyari Pamyu Pamyu kind of
Yep.
came out with her first music video,
That'll do
and
it.
the designer, Sebastian Masuda, was actually the one who was the artistic director for her music video.
Mhm.
So then I got a chance to finally figure out who was the person who created this brand, and then I guess that was around like 2011 or something, or 2012,
Mhm.
and that was kind of when I started to dig deeper into finding out more about like the actual websites that have like Tokyo fashion snaps.
Mm.
So then I was able to find out about even more brands from there.
Alright, alright. And I mean, obviously, there's a whole bunch of different brands that are typical to Japan, the street fashion in Japan. Um, if there was a way that you could distinguish kawaii fashion from other Japanese fashion trends, what would it be? And also, like, what is it about this specific subgenre that you love?
Mm. So whenever someone wants to know what kawaii fashion is, you could
Mhm.
probably start off with saying it's cute, it's colorful, it's full of different accessories.
Mhm.
Um, or some people might think of Japanese fashion, the first thing that comes to their head is Lolita fashion. So
Mm.
the very frilly, cute dresses with the beautiful prints on them.
Mhm.
So I guess for everyone, the first starting brand, like, or not brand, but the first starting genre of street fashion will
Mhm.
differ. For me, I'll always tell people it's really cute, it's really colorful, it's really out there, and
Mhm.
I guess for me, um, I've always really loved colors, even when I was
Mhm.
younger, and I've always loved little like keychains and trinkets and little toys.
Mhm.
Um, and I loved Hello Kitty as well. So I always tried to wear
Nice.
like little printed T-shirts.
Oh.
So I guess finding that there was more to that sort of like fun
Mhm.
really sparked my interest because here in Canada when I was growing up, kids got their t-shirts on, their leggings on, their little
Yeah.
they don't got really much going on. And then as you grow up, it's like, "Oh, I want to wear American Eagle." And then everyone wants to wear American Eagle, or "I want to wear Hollister," or
Mm.
like Abercrombie and Finch.
Oh
And
god, I
it's
hated that phase.
I I did too.
Like
And
one of the
it's
things I'm so jealous of kids nowadays is that there's so much more in terms of how to accessorize and how to express yourself because
yeah.
people can share looks online. And back then, it was just all pretty much this thing.
Yeah, and like even here, like we didn't have Hot Topic, so it's like Hot Topic was one of the only like
Wow.
alternative stores, and I'd have to wait until my family went on vacation to America to be able to like go to these like cool stores. But like as time went on, I went to a high school that required uniform. So
Hmm.
most of my high
Oh, that
school days,
sucks.
yeah, it's like most of my high school days, the only thing I can do is like accessorize with my like cute hair accessories or put on a
Oh.
necklace. But like, that's it.
Well, I mean, like in terms of that, then I feel like everybody has this, like just in terms of their little aesthetic. What was the first piece you fell in love with?
So in high school,
Mm-hmm.
when I was starting to like, just newly discover like Harajuku fashion,
Uh-huh.
uh, I was trying to search everywhere I could. So I searched on eBay for like some like cool Harajuku street fashion,
Mm-hmm.
and I found this one store. I think it's called like Jill X Punk, Jill Cat Punk, something like that. I'm not even sure
Sounds
if it
about right.
exists anymore, but like they had a whole bunch of things, and I was so overwhelmed. And at that part of my life, I didn't have a job yet, 'cause I'm just a wee little high school
Tragic.
student. And I have to wait for my allowance money after doing chores, and I'm like, okay, which one
Mm.
piece am I gonna buy from this store? So I bought this pair of pants
Mhm.
with one leg pink with black polka dots, the other leg black with pink lightning bolts, and they're like the
Okay.
dropped crotch pants,
Okay.
and I still own these pants. They still fit me, and I love them so much.
Dang. What year was that, just for reference?
So that was probably 2010.
Because I was gonna say drop crotch, like, didn't really become a thing until, like I mean, not recently, but, like, somewhere in the mid-2000s, so, like, right there, you can see how, like, trends are, like, already starting in Japan, which is kinda cool.
Yeah. So I still got these pants. I love them so much. Thank you, Jill Cat Punk eBay store, for
Shout outs Chill
providing
Cat
me.
eBay store, there you go, right there. If you're still out there, shout outs to you. You mentioned 6% Doki Doki earlier. Is
Yes.
there something specifically about that brand in particular that attracted you or kind of just like sets off that passionate flame inside of you?
So the artist creates these collages of really like cool, colorful, like little toys and things that
Mhm.
he collects from all over the world.
Hmm.
And when I first saw his products, for me, like it's like nothing I've ever seen before, because
Mhm.
I was mostly at that time I was mostly looking at Lolita fashion because that seemed a little bit easier for me to find. So then,
Really?
yeah, like in terms of photos, like more of
Mhm.
the photos had like references, so I was able to
Oh.
find find out like where that came from, and then I also had some of my friends who also liked Lolita fashion at the time, so I was able to like,
That'll do it. That'll
yeah,
do it. Because I
I
was
was.
gonna say, like, you have I feel like Lolita circles are kind of like an eternal thing. Like I feel like there's probably some instances of that going back to the 1980s or something. Just for reference for everybody who's listening, like Lolita tends to be, if I'm not wrong, like a little bit more like decorative or a little bit more like almost like formal compared to like how we fashion a lot of like street fashion in Japan. Is that
Mm,
about right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, some people still wear it casually, but like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like more people will be like, "Oh, I'm going to wear Lolita to like a tea party, or I'm going to wear it
Mm.
to the park and take like photos with my friends and have a picnic." But there are some
Mm-hmm.
people who just like to wear it on a daily basis.
Mm. Okay. Gosh, I couldn't even imagine taking that much effort. But I mean, like, hey, it takes effort to look good, right?
Yep, yep, it does.
And in terms of all that, here's what I was really curious about because you had actually started as a brand ambassador for 6% Doki Doki, right?
Well, uh I started that pretty much at the beginning of 2019.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So
So
that's
it's
a little bit.
fairly new.
Oh, okay. I was wondering because I look back. I'm not gonna lie, did a little digging. I thought you had like started your thing with that, but that's good to know. Okay, I was going to say, well, in either case, you obviously had your own spin that you wanted to put on things because otherwise you wouldn't have gotten into actually creating.
Yeah.
So my question is, what was it that when you looked at kawaii designers and pieces and all that that you thought, man, these are great, but what if, et cetera, et cetera? Like what were the changes you wanted to see or like what was the touch you wanted to put?
Mm. So I went through a long process of designing, coming up with ideas. So like I said, like when I was in grade 9, that's kind of like, oh, I want to get into costumes. So
Okay.
throughout high school, I designed a lot of things that were more costume like. And
Mm-hmm.
once I got into my first program at college, which was the design program,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's when I was kind of like, okay, like, I still want to make costumes, but maybe I'll make some clothes too. And at the time, I was also working part time at a performing arts theater.
Oh, that's
So
perfect.
I saw a lot of dance competitions, and
Ah.
I thought to myself, oh, like maybe I want to get into making dance costumes. So
Ah.
once I finished my program, I
Mhm.
dug around to try and find a job. And
Mhm.
I ended up getting a job at a dance costume company very close to my house, which I'm very thankful for.
Lucky. That's nice.
And yeah, and during my time there,
Mhm.
right before I started, I actually went to Japan for the first time. So that was in
Ooh.
2014.
Oh, okay, okay.
So at that time, I was able to visit 6% Doki Doki for the first time. And
Oh.
that whole trip was just really inspiring for me to finally be able to see Harajuku fashion for the first time with my own eyes, like right in
Mhm.
front of me.
Right.
So when I came back and I started my full-time job,
Mhm.
I really like was trying to focus again still on like where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. And
Mhm.
then just one day, I was just sketching in my sketchbook and I drew my little ghost mascot and I'm like,
Oh,
like
that goes back that far. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I drew my little ghost mascot and I'm like, like I can catch on to this.
All right.
And then I started to kind of get a more clear picture of what I wanted to do. And then in 2015, in March,
Mhm.
Sebastian Masuda came to New York City and he was having a
Mm.
lecture and I really, really wanted to go. And I went on a megabus. I told my boss, I'm like, I have to go to this thing. Like I'm only gonna be away for 3 days. So I went on
What
the
did he say?
megabus.
Or did she say?
Yeah, she was okay with it because March is our busiest season. Like March is part
Mm.
of our like busy season, but like
Yeah.
I think she just saw the determination in my eyes and was just like, okay. So I got on the mega bus, got there. The lecture was on, I think, the next day or something,
Mhm.
and then the next day I just got back on the bus and came back. So it was
Wow,
like
so you were really only there for the lecture and then just jetted right back.
yeah.
Did you go with anybody or was it just you?
Oh, I went with my previous partner,
Oh,
um,
okay.
who also still helps with the some business stuff here and there. And he is,
Shout out to y'all.
yeah, so he's very kind. His name is Francis,
Aw. Shout out
and
Francis.
yep, and yeah. So he came with me, and I after seeing Sebastian Masuda talk, like that's what
Mhm.
really kicked into gear. Like I really want to do good, and I really want to do something that people are gonna like open their eyes even wider to. So I felt
Was
really
it
inspired.
was it like something that he said that inspired you or was it just a general vibe you got from him?
It was just everything he said.
Mm,
So
I've had
in
that.
in the lecture, he pretty much talked about his journey as a designer because
Mm,
he was at the very beginning of the big boom of like harajuku kawaii fashion.
right.
So just hearing his story, like I went in there and I was like a kid like in front of a toy store like looking at the favorite toy in
Mm,
the window. Like my eyes were like wide and my mouth like wide open.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so after the lecture, like he went into the main hall to take photos with everyone. Like you
Mhm.
just line up and take a photo.
Yeah.
And I remember telling him on that day, like, please come. I hope you can come to Canada one day. Like, you have fans
Okay.
here. And that was that was the beginning of my journey towards becoming an ambassador for 6% Doki Doki.
That's like when you took it serious. That's when like the switch was flipped.
Yep,
That's amazing. Oh my god, that's awesome. Do you still like I mean, I know since you're ambassador now, have you gotten close to Sebastian at all or
definitely. Um, so after that lecture, he was holding another lecture in 2018, and I went to New York again to go
well you
see
have to.
him. And this time he remembered me because the first time
Ah.
he asked, "Who thinks they traveled the farthest to get here?" And I raised my hand, and I'm like, I'm from Toronto, Canada." And everyone was like, "Oh." And indeed, I did travel the furthest. So this second time, he asked the same question, and I raised my hand again, and I'm like, "I came from Toronto, Canada." And it was funny because this time he remembered who I was.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was really cool. And then the same thing happened where I tried to invite him to come to Canada because I also work with a Japanese festival called Japan Festival Canada, and
Mhm.
I wanted to see if he would be interested in coming as a guest for the event.
Oh, you came twice. He has to now. Now he's obligated, especially
Right?
since he recognized you.
So, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of time for
Mhm.
his schedule, but he did show that he was interested.
Okay.
So I was really excited, and I got into some contact information with him,
Mhm.
but nothing had worked out, which was fine because in October of 2018 I was going back to Japan,
Oh,
and I ended up bumping into him at the Kawaii Monster Cafe on
just like that?
Halloween night. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I saw him and I was so excited because at first, like, this was my first time traveling alone to Japan. So
Oh.
at first, I was kind of feeling lonely and like, oh, maybe I'll go back, maybe I'll leave. And then I saw
Mm.
him and I'm like, oh, he's here. So I didn't want to leave unless I said hi to him. So I went to go say hi, and he still remembered who I was, and I was really excited. And I felt a lot happier that I saw him. So then I ended up staying, and then I got some food from the bar, and
Mhm.
then I was looking for a table, and then he saw me looking for a table and invited me to sit at his table.
So
And
he saw you first.
I saw him first, like while I was just wandering around. But then when went to go get food, and then
Mhm.
he noticed me talking to a waitress, he waved me and said, "Oh, like come sit here." And I was like, "Oh, okay,
He made the
sure."
move. Okay.
So I sat there and I was so nervous. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, he asked me to sit at his table. Like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? I have to ask him to come to Toronto again."
Listen, third time, okay? Also, I would argue that by then you have to be friends because y'all keep running into each other.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I think it's only fair.
what was it like sitting down and just talking to him like that?
If I was very nervous because I just wasn't expecting it to happen.
Mhm.
So that when it happened, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. What do I
You're like
do?"
you're like right next to your like mentor figure, and
Yeah.
you're just like, I don't know what to talk about. What did you try to make conversation, or did you just kind of like
Oh,
let
of
him take
course.
the lead?
Oh, no, no, no. So, like, at first, he was like, "Oh, like, do you want anything to drink?" I'm like, no, I'm okay." And he's like, oh, okay." He got me, like, some tea, and the thing was, he had actually asked his staff members to come and join him, so they were actually celebrating 6% Doki Doki's birthday.
Hey, okay.
So the shop manager, um, she came to our table, and I had actually just saw her earlier that day because I went to the shop. So she's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, like nice to see you again." So I was making conversation with her, and then making conversation back, and then making conversation with the other shop staff too.
Oh, okay.
And then a girl from Australia was also sitting at the table with us because she was decked out in all these like colorful accessories. So he
Well, there you
he
go.
also noticed her and was like, "Come sit with us." So it was
Aw.
nice. And then I made sure to be like, "Hey, like let's get Toronto, like let's get Toronto to be official." And he's like, "Yes, let's plan it." So we exchanged more contact information, and then I left um the Kawaii Monster Cafe with the most gigantic smile on my face.
And to think like before then you've been feeling kind of moody, but like this, I just imagine like this would just immediately shoot the entire trip to being worth it in my book.
Oh, it was. It was literally like I was just feeling so like sad because I saw so many people with their friends, and I was like, man, like I wish I was here with a friend. Like, oh, I don't know if I want to be here still. Like, I think I might just
Mhm.
go. And then
Yeah.
thank God, thank God everything happened the way it did because it turned out great.
Gonna say I've only had one experience I was like that, and that was going to a con by myself, and I had the exact same experience. It's like, I mean, yeah, there's fun stuff to do around, but like if you're
Hmm.
not there with somebody, it just seems way less interesting for whatever reason.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's always nice to be able to share these fun experiences with someone and then talk about it after.
Exactly. Like I was lucky, like you, that I wound up running into people that I knew while I was there. So it wound up
Okay,
being
great.
okay. Like
Of
it wound up
course.
being an amazing experience afterwards. But in between, oh yeah, it was rough. Um,
Hmm.
you'd mentioned your full-time job.
Yes.
You as a pattern drafter, is this correct?
Yes.
Okay, so for the uninitiated, what is that specifically?
Mm. So pattern drafting is essentially creating the puzzle pieces of what a garment is made of.
Mm-hmm.
So for a shirt, for example, you have the front, the back, and the sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
For a dance costume specifically, you can have like a little crop top with long sleeves and a little
Mm-hmm.
skirt and bows. So I'm the one that has to look at the measurements for
Mm-hmm.
um, the required sizes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have to make the pattern, and then I have to make it into the different sizes.
Mm, okay.
And then
And I
once,
mean, like, Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. And then
Yeah.
once the patterns are finished,
Mhm.
the fabric cutter will cut, and then once the cutter's finished cutting all the pieces, I have to then take all the pieces and arrange them into little bundles for the sewers to
Mm.
start sewing.
Mm. And I mean, like, I know you, and then obviously your passion is clothing, designing, all that.
Yes.
So I imagine you enjoyed it, but at the same time, I gotta ask you, what was the thing that you disliked about it most?
In my job or in my own brand?
You know what? I'll extend it either or, because I mean, we all have things that we love about our like passions and our our jobs and everything, but there's
Mhm.
also those little things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So actually, when I was in the fashion design program, I
Mm-hmm.
told myself I never wanted to be a pattern drafter
Wow.
because pattern drafting it's pretty tedious and it
Mm.
requires a lot of measurements, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the greatest with math. But I
Mm.
still managed to do pattern drafting perfectly fine because it just requires like simple math. So
There you
like
go.
addition, subtraction.
Okay.
So I told myself, I'm like, yeah, I never want to be a pattern drafter. This is so much work. Like, I don't really want to do this. And then as soon as I finished graduating, I'm like, dance costume jobs in like my area. Then I go to this one place and it's very close to my house, and they're like, "Oh, we've been looking for a pattern drafter." I'm like, "Well, you know what? I'm a
There you go.
pattern drafter." so so I guess for my full time job, it becomes very stressful because not only do I do pattern drafting, but I
Mhm.
also have to meet with clients, design
Mhm.
the costumes. I also have to manage the workers in the back workshop.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'm doing a lot of different things. I also have to do something called marker making, which is
Mhm.
essentially the next step up from when the pattern drafting is complete.
Mhm.
So someone who does marker making, it's pretty much the Tetris of pattern
Oh,
drafting. So
okay.
you have to take all the pattern pieces that were for this specific costume and
Mhm.
arrange it on the fabric so that there's the least amount of waste.
Oh, okay.
Because we're making costumes for, groups of 15, groups of 20 kids. So
Mhm.
we have to layer the fabric up. So essentially, the other aspect of my job is to make the layout for how
Mhm.
the cutter will cut the pieces out.
Right, right. Do you ever have any trouble with like the initial designing on your clients at all?
Well, our our clients are very picky and they are very particular. So I have some clients that are very easy to work with and let me kind of take over designing. But then
Uh-huh.
I have some clients who take about half an hour to decide whether they want something to be pink or purple.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, so sometimes it be like that.
So what to say, the customer's always right? Not always, but still,
Well,
it's a living.
not always.
I like, and then in addition to that, you still wind up having the time to organize fashion shows and everything.
Yes.
I'm in awe. What was it like doing your first fashion show? This was the Youth Day fashion show at Dundas Square. Is that correct?
Yes. So that was during my um, fashion design um, first college program,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I got this email from my school that's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're looking for designers for this fashion show,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much Dundas Square is like the Times Square of Toronto. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
not as glamorous, but it's as good as we got. So I was so excited to be able to have this opportunity to go downtown and show my clothes.
Of course.
So I I tried my best to kind of make a mini collection of things that worked, and then
Mm-hmm.
I picked out some of my own clothes that I had in my closet to kind of match because there were some things I hadn't learned how to make yet,
Mm-hmm.
like nice blouses. Like I didn't know how to make that, so I'm just gonna grab one from my closet and pair with a skirt I made and kind of work with what I've got.
Yeah, if it goes.
So it ended up being a really nice show, and I
Mm-hmm.
like I had some of my friends help me model, and
Mhm.
I would say it was a pretty successful first run because um, all I had to do essentially was just arrive at the venue like prepared to go, and then they have the MCs ready. They have their own like event coordinators, and
Oh, okay.
it was just me bringing my people and showing off.
Oh, perfect, perfect. I mean, was it, were you nervous at all? Like, thinking about which piece to show off, if you thought that one might work better than another one or anything?
No, I think I was just more excited at the fact that I got to actually do something like,
There you go, there
wow,
you
I
go.
get to be part of a fashion show. Cool. Like, I'm going to
Nice.
show in front of people downtown. So
Yo,
I was more
kudos, no
nervous.
fear.
I was more nervous about just being able to get there on time.
Compared to, your second fashion show, Youth Day fashion show oh, no, no, not that one, The Runway for Research. I know it's, like, 4 months off, but was it more involved at all, or was it pretty much the same amount of effort or time that was invested?
Yeah, I'd say it's about the same. Um,
Mhm,
for that one, like we had a lot of prep time before the event. We've
mhm,
had like some rundowns. The person who organized it was very organized and gave us
mhm.
lots of information ahead of time. So I didn't have any problems. Like it was really easy, really good to work again with my friends, and I actually had some friends come out to watch too. So
So, there was, like, nothing to you. You just had, like you were in the like, you had an idea of what was going on then.
yeah, I guess because like I've never really had stage fright. So like for me,
Mhm,
knowing that like my stuff is going to go on stage, I
mhm.
was just so excited
Oh,
to
you're made for
do
this.
it. So I was just like, yeah, like okay, friends, like I got this cool idea, let's go.
So then
And
when you
then
had to be oh, go ahead.
oh, and then I was just saying and then there's my friends who are like, "Oh, Alexia, I'm afraid of messing up." I'm like, "No, don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Just feel the music. It's gonna be good."
That's dope. That's what you need to have when you're running a big show like that and you're managing a bunch of other people. Just have like that fearless leader bravado. So shout out. Oh my god.
Thank you.
Was it okay? So your first official show,
Yes, that
still
was
just easy pie?
um I think for that one, so that show there was a lot again, a lot of prep work before the actual show. The
Mm-hmm.
difference with this one was that I was only allowed to use 3 of my own models and then 2 of them were essentially strangers. I
Ah.
got to meet them ahead of time because we had like a model call.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see them briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got them picked, I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm glad I got the people that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It's all I would say it's a little bit troublesome when you work with other people just because you don't know how they work and you don't know how they react to certain things. But I'm really happy for this show. Those two girls that I worked with that I didn't know were very
Mm-hmm.
kind and very easy to work with. So like I I didn't feel very nervous um for that one either just because it's the same sort of deal where someone else was putting on the show and I just had to be there prepared, and I'm always very organized when it comes to these things. I like write
Teach me.
different checklists, and I ask people to bring certain things and I remind them like 12 billion times to bring those things, and I bring backup things just in case. So
Oh no, you were made for this. Like that amount of preparation, and everything. That's amazing. Every your staff must feel completely comfortable just knowing that. Oh yeah, Alexia will take care of it.
my ghost girl staff is just me and occasionally Francis. So
I mean,
I'm a one man show.
hey, apparently that's all you need. Like, so okay, your fashion shows, all that, and
Mhm.
then I have to highlight this. You actually took the time to go ahead and organize and I'm just gonna go ahead and read off the title. Ghost Girl's first ever stay home digital fashion show,
Yes.
which thus far, I have not seen anybody else do something even remotely similar to that.
Mm.
So, was this like a spur of the moment thing, or how long did this take to organize?
So I kind of got the idea because I saw some people talking about like some fashion events that were no longer happening at a convention in the States. Like they're like, oh,
Mhm.
like we're just gonna go on. I think they were going on Twitch and like talking about the different things, and they were gonna do some
Mm.
fashion walk,
Mhm.
like the Harajuku fashion walk, but digitally somehow. And then
Right,
I
right,
kind
right.
of thought to myself, like, I want to host a fashion show because
Just
I'm not going to be able to. So then I think this was at the beginning of April. I'm gonna just check
mhm.
my calendar here. Yeah, so at the beginning of April, that's when I kind of announced like, hey, I'm gonna be doing a virtual fashion show. Would anyone be interested? And then
Mhm.
I got some feedback on my Facebook page. So then like maybe like not too long after I made a nice little graphic so I can advertise and then start asking people like, "Hey, like let's make it happen." So
Nice.
essentially the basis of it was getting people to wear their Ghost Girl products in whichever way they like to wear it best.
Mhm.
And it was nice because like I got to see people's different styles and the way different people like to enjoy my clothing. So like it was really cool to see that, and it was surprising because every time someone sent me something, I was like, oh, like how did they style their thing? And then I opened the
Oh,
video, I'm like, oh, this is so cool! Like I can't wait. And
that's so
like
sweet. Oh my
yeah,
god.
and then like when I'm putting it together, and like
Mhm.
I asked my DJ friends if I can use some of their music so that I can also support them too,
Okay.
and then I got to like um I got to put it all together, and then I was putting it together. I'm like, oh, this looks so cool, and this music's so good, and like it was just so fun.
And I mean, I'll put it to you this way too. Honestly, I feel like I can hear your excitement right now, but I'm willing to bet you putting that out there and organizing this whole thing gave a whole lot of people time to actually like put in time to put an outfit together, which
Yeah,
is it counts for a lot. Like right now, where everybody's locked down, nobody can really go anywhere. Having something to dress up for, just in like period. Like I haven't put on jeans in 2 months. Full disclosure, I've just been sweatpants all this time.
yeah.
So to have a reason to do that and have some self expression and feel like you're doing something productive, that counts for a lot. You should really pat yourself on the back for that.
Thank you. Then it's like that's exactly what I wanted to do. Like I wanted people to feel like they could do something fun still, and I wanted to give people like something to do if they did feel up to it. And you know what? Maybe some people didn't really feel up to it because they're just not like they just didn't really
Hmm.
feel like they could get in the mood for it, and that's
Hmm.
totally fine. Maybe they could just watch the video after and be like, "Oh, like that looked really fun. Like that's really cool." And
Hmm.
maybe it'll at least put a smile on their face another day, sort of
For,
thing.
oh yeah, for something at least. I mean, if you think about it, all these things, everything from this time, is going to be time capsule worthy years from now.
Mhm. Yeah. And
I
like
mean,
I'm
oh,
just
go ahead.
glad that people had
Mhm.
fun. So
Oh, they clearly had fun. I don't think I saw a single sad, sullen person in that entire show.
yeah.
So I had a couple of articles of clothing that I was hoping I could get your input on.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. First one of these. Let's see. While I'm digging these up, why don't you do a quick little plug? Ghost Girl Goods is the only um distributor. Is that the right term for 6% Doki Doki Nuez and Hypercore in Canada?
Uh
That is.
it not necessarily distributor, but like a reseller.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I am the only person here in Canada who is selling those brands, and uh, you can like I guess because Canadian dollar is.
CND. Yeah.
cheaper for some people, it comes out to be a better deal. So,
Is that okay? So what I was wondering is that an exclusivity deal, or was that just you guys are the first ones? You were the ones to bring it over, so everybody should credit you, pretty much.
well, I it's more like I just wanted to bring those brands specifically so
Hmm.
that people had access to them. Because I know people can order, so there's this website, Tokyo Otaku Mode, that has some of the brands,
Hmm.
but it's American dollars. So a lot of
Mm.
Canadian people feel reluctant to order things sometimes because if something's $50, it ends up being like $80. And
Hmm.
we, us Canadians, we don't like that. So I just wanted to allow for more people to have access to the cool brands without having to spend so much money on it and being able to afford it in their own currency and not
I
have to pay too much.
I always wondered how that worked out, like in terms of exchange rates, if it was a pain. Because I know for us, there were certain times, at least like when I was growing up, the conversion rates tended to work out for us. But again,
Mhm.
you never know like what general income is like or anything
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, like for for the brands that I hold, their products are still kind of like pricey, but
Hmm.
the fact that people can actually see them in person when I go to events makes them feel a little more comfortable knowing that, oh, I'm gonna spend 100 something dollars on this product, but now I know what it looks like and now I know what it feels like. Now I know it comes in this size. So people can have something to save up for and know what it looks like and feels like at the same time, sort of thing. So,
That counts for a lot, especially nowadays. I just dropped a link, by the way.
oh,
I found out that I couldn't upload pictures directly through the client, so I had to find that link.
yeah.
But I will say that that is a big thing that you're seeing now is like people being a little bit more comfortable with ordering their clothes online.
Mhm.
It's still there. It's still never going to beat the ability to actually feel it and wear it and
Yeah.
see like what the fit is going to be like.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the problem sometimes with people when they want to order something online and then, something looks so fuzzy and soft on the internet and then when they get it it's like scratchy and uncomfortable.
Here's my question: how many times, if that's ever happened to you, when it's ever happened to you, did you actually put in the effort to return it?
Uh Never. Mm,
Me too. Same. That's
It's
why I
like,
hate buying clothes online.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like people become so comfortable with getting something and not feeling good about it, but then they're like,
Hmm.
"Well, it's too much effort to bring it back. Now I'm just stuck with it." So,
I have to drive to the post office like 6 minutes out there. I have to put on pants. Like, what is this? Come on.
I have to get out of bed like
At this point, I'm really starting to question certain things about getting out of bed, about going outside. I'm like, Oh, but the did you open the link?
Yes, I did. It's
Okay,
Galaxy.
so
Good brand.
here's my question because I
Yeah.
know Nuez's head designer used to be part of Galaxy, correct?
Yes.
Right. So this is a thing that's kind of like been ruminating in my head. I figure I'd get your input on this.
Yeah.
On one hand, I called this, I'm not gonna lie, I called this several months ago that there was going to be designer masks being churned out in a couple months. So
Yep.
I'm claiming that first off. Second off, I love, but I'm conflicted at the same time. Cause it's like, is it making the best of a bad situation? Is it almost like a little bit iffy because it's a mask? I know I tend to feel like anything that gives you a sense of like expression right now,
Mhm.
especially considering like I mean, for a while we were lucky to even get like surgical masks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um I was one of the first ones as soon as I started seeing masks and everything, I started looking up there's this Nike athletic like snood that is
Yeah.
specifically for like running in the winter, and it's pretty much just tech core like goth cyber ninja type of wear. But I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, I get to wear this in public and not look like a weirdo. I love this. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel, but I figured I'd
Mhm.
get, the point of view from somebody who's actually in the industry.
Mm. So I guess like so many people are making face masks right now,
Mhm.
and they are definitely taking advantage of the situation.
Mhm.
Um, for example, like Galaxy, yes, they're awesome designs, and
Mhm.
it's like $30 for a mask, and people are gonna
Yeah.
buy it because it looks cool, because it's Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
And like even people had asked me like, "Oh, Alexia, are you making masks?" And I'm like,
Mhm.
for me personally, I feel kind of unsure if I even want to start because
Mhm.
first of all, like I my whole motto is about not following trends. Like
Mhm.
when I make something, I want to make something unique and original
Mhm.
that's not just being made because I'm going to make money off of it. Like I find that there's just a lot of people who tend to make things because it's making money. And
Mhm.
it's I find that it's kind of doing it for the wrong reason where
Mhm.
when I make something, I want to love what I make and I want people to love what I
Mhm.
make. Not
Mhm.
because everyone else and their grandma's wearing it, but because it's something that really speaks to them.
Mhm. Mhm.
But like in the whole term of like the masks and stuff, like obviously people need them.
Mhm.
So it's a good thing that there are people making them. And
Mhm.
it's cool like that like you can wear these funky little masks and no one's going to call you out on it because like you're just doing everyone a favor and protecting yourself and
Right.
others. So,
Right. And here's the other thing I'm starting to wonder.
mhm.
I mean, knock on wood. For a lot of the masks that are coming out just now, do you I mean, again, knocking the hell out of this wood. You
Yeah.
feel like it might be a little bit too late? Like, I'm
Uh
hoping, but I
for
can't help but, you know.
for people who are making masks like now?
Yeah, kind of. Because it seems like I mean, not obviously like quarantine and shelter at home orders like vary around the world, right? But
Mhm.
it seems like more and more you keep hearing stories of those orders lifting. So
Yeah.
it almost makes me wonder if by the time a lot of the pre-orders or order to sell masks, when they come out, they might just kind of fall by the wayside because there might not be as much of a reason to
Yeah.
wear them.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. That's why like this whole time too, it's like I considered it because people were saying, "Oh, like you should make masks. You should make masks." And I'm like, "You know what? There are so many people making masks. Like I don't need to do this right now because by the time I finish making my masks and the time Susan down the
Mm-hmm.
street finished making her mask,
Mm-hmm.
like there's going to be so many masks and person ABC has already ordered like 3 masks that aren't going to come until the end of May. Like
Exactly. That and for a good while, at least around here, climate was definitely colder in the March to April months. So I kind of even liked having, I mean, my mask because it was like an athletic, like runner mask
yeah.
because it kept me like just warm. It was extra covering for my face, and I'm
Mhm.
probably gonna keep whipping it out from now and then, like just in the winter, just to keep me more covered.
Yeah.
During the summer, I'm not sure about that. Like for a
Yeah.
lot of them it's hard enough to breathe.
Yeah, so right now, like the weather here has been about like I think it was like 21 today. So the weather's been pretty hot.
Mhm.
Um, so been a lot of statements saying like people don't want to wear masks in the heat because it's like hard to breathe. And
Mhm.
like me personally, when I see people wearing masks outside, I don't really think it's necessary unless you're around people. But I think
Mm.
like if you're just walking outside, I don't think you should be keeping your face covered because again, like you're impeding your breathing.
Yeah.
Like I'm no doctor, I'm no scientist and whatever, but like I just think that if you're outside, like you're not gonna if you're not around people and if you're just walking and even if you just pass by someone, like like if you don't have a mask on, you're gonna be fine.
Or at
But
least
like
like you
if
could like drape it down, you know.
yeah,
And then if somebody
yeah,
comes up, it's like, oh, okay, the 6 feet, 6 feet, mask
yeah,
up. Like,
yeah. But like yeah, if you're in the vicinity of other people, like yes, like wear one. It just sucks because like if you're outside, it's
oh,
in
it's
like you're
awful.
you're around people, it's gonna be hot.
Oh my god, like where I am right now, it's a little bit more mountainous, so
Mm.
there's at least nice breezes here and then. Where I used to live, it was literally a city built on a swamp.
Oh
So I
no.
couldn't even imagine that humidity with the mask.
Yeah.
Oh god, just no. Just no. I'm glad I don't have to deal with it. And then just sent you another link. I have a feeling you're gonna dig this. Yeah.
I was just like,
For everybody out there,
cool.
could you describe for the listeners what you're looking at right now?
Yeah. They're like Lisa Frank shoes, Reebok shoes filled with Lisa Frank like designs.
Just like
It looks like
all over.
stickers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I saw this and immediately I was like, this I already know this is gonna be a winner. Um I also thought it was really interesting because it's at that intersection of like, I mean, massive amounts of colors and cute animals and symbols and all that, but
Yeah.
also sneakers, which is like the patron just deity for streetwear at this point.
Yep, yep. And like to be honest, I feel like with shoes, no one's gonna judge like when someone looks at you on the street and you're
Hmm.
wearing a funky outfit, maybe someone's gonna judge you because they just don't understand. But if you're
Hmm.
like out and about and ready to shout and wearing like some colorful shoes, no
Hmm.
one's gonna judge your shoes.
That's what I love about this era is like with the right shoes, you could really pull off just about anything.
Yeah,
Because
like
they're like,
people,
oh, they pay attention to how they look, or like they just like fashion, and then they just keep walking.
yeah, and like people are gonna probably comment your shoes if you got some like funky shoes on and be like, wow, like nice shoes. But like
Hmm.
it's it's just like wearing the shoes, but like on your clothes.
Like, do you? I mean, I was wondering, is there room for a little bit more, or how often? Okay, let me phrase this a better way. Do you
Mhm.
see any more shoes like this come up frequently in Kawi, like just regular manufacturers and distributors and things like that, or do you think it's something that maybe there could be a little bit more of?
So I guess because I am like I know of all these different stores, and then like I know of different people who know all these different stores. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show you.
Oh,
I'm
please
gonna
do.
show you a website
Go for it.
that has like crazy cute shoes.
Okay. All right. And then also, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Uh, how much do you think these shoes run for?
Well, they're Reebok, so I'm gonna assume that they're probably 200 something plus.
So, here's the thing. I couldn't tell you because there's only two pairs that were ever made.
Oh.
Isn't that tragic?
Yeah. And
Immediately
you
when
know
I,
what? I was looking on the website for a link too to see if I could
yeah.
find one.
Listen, I was low key gonna see if I could cop a pair for my girlfriend, just to have
Mm,
like as like a cute little like birthday present or something, just to the side. Nope,
yeah.
only two ever. I was like, this is a massive waste. Like
Mm,
they're literally, and I mean like these pairs specifically were
yeah.
signed by Lisa Frank
Yeah,
specifically.
I saw.
But you'd think if they put in the effort to make these, that they wouldn't like churn out at least, I don't even know, 1,000 pairs or something.
That's what I don't understand with these brands. When you make things exclusive, you don't
Hmm.
understand the money you're losing.
Or at least what they could do is they could follow the model that Japanese figure makers do, which is basically like, cool, so you got a month to pre-order.
Yeah,
After that, we make them to whatever the orders are, and
yeah.
then that's it. You're good.
Yep, yep, I
It
agree.
immediately easiest way to reduce on any waste or make sure you don't make too many and you lose money. There
Ye
you go.
Yep.
Done.
And
Also,
then if you're thinking the
mhm.
sales are good, you make a couple extra to put in a store and then you go from there.
I mean, and you have the perfect reference point right there. Ooh. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, here we are. Okay, this is a little bit more in line with what I was. Is that Jesus and the Virgin Mary? That's Jesus and the
Yes,
Virgin Mary.
it
All right,
is.
there you go. There you go. See, I'm not gonna lie because this is why I love having conversations like this because I wind up finding out so much more about a world that I just didn't even know. Like
Mhm.
the shoes that I was finding associated with kawaii fashion and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that they're not like shoes or anything, but it was definitely more in the vein of like I want to say like platform shoes
Yep,
or like platform heels, things like that. A lot of platform stuff, but in general,
yeah.
more in the vein of like almost like a dress shoe aesthetic rather than just like a streetwear aesthetic.
Yep, yep. There's another website I'm gonna link you to as well.
Okay.
And the good thing about this one I'm gonna link you and the one I sent you is that they have like a bunch of different styles. So
Mm-hmm.
the one called Why Are You?
Mm-hmm.
They specialize in a lot of like big platforms, but then they do also have the really cool stylish running shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And this one I just sent you called the Regular Choice, they have just a bunch of different styles: sandals,
Oh.
party shoes, um, like
Oh,
running
I
shoes.
I already know I'm buying a couple of these as gifts.
Yep,
Like I like immediately just off the rip. I saw those couple of those at the top. I can't say them because she's in the other room, but yeah.
yep, yep, yep. Good.
Um oh my god. And then these I more so just want to get your opinion on.
Mhm.
Um just drop those right in there. The link's a little like revealing, but I like hearing people's reactions to these.
it looks it looks like a bag. Like it looks like a foot bag. Like when you have to like protect your shoes and you like get a
Oh my god,
plastic
you're
bag
right.
and you get a plastic bag and tie it over your shoe.
For reference, we're talking about the new Adidas Yeezy 451s that I mean, yo, like Alexia said, they look like the bags you wear over your shoes to protect your shoes.
Yeah.
I've heard anything from Yeezy makes ballet shoes now. Is that what's going on?
is is Yeezy the one like who is it Drake?
No, it's Kanye. It's Kanye.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's all. But like,
It was one of those people.
oh yeah. That's Kanye. He always has like that. I mean, every rapper has like about five alter egos, and like Yeezy is
Yeah.
like that one because it's just like his last name added
Mm,
to a little bit of Jesus influence.
yeah.
But and this is a big thing that people debate on, just in general with these shoes, like just
Mhm.
the Yeezys in general. Which you see some influence go back into a lot of Japanese fashion, and it kind of like echoes back and forth.
Yeah.
But what I was wondering is the one thing that people will say about these shoes, no matter what, is even if they're ugly or like certain ones of them are ugly, they're comfortable. So
Mm.
my question was, how often, if at all, do you make that exchange between like fashionability and comfort?
Mm, for me, like I need things to be comfortable. Like
Mm-hmm.
the most I've ever done was I've ordered a pair of shoes. They were really cheap and they were just like a wee bit too small. And
Mm-hmm.
I still wore them because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to still wear them because they were cute. But the thing is, it really
Yeah.
hurt my foot and my toe.
Mm.
But then eventually I had worn it so much that it just kind of stretched out into my foot shape.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really painful. And if the shoe's not comfortable, like I can't wear it very long. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I've got a whole bunch of shoes that, after a while, like maybe it hurts the back of my foot or maybe it just kind of makes my foot sore.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll do it if I really want to wear the shoes, I'll do it. But like I'll just wear it for that one day or that one little
Mm.
event and then I won't wear it for a couple more days until my foot like gets back to 100% like comfort mode, and
Oh my
then
god. Do you ever like plan out thinking, okay, how long is this event? How long can I go with being on my feet, or can I sit most of the time or something like that, and then like use that to help you decide what to wear?
yeah, like there are certain shoes where I know like I'll be able to get through the whole day.
Mhm.
But like if I'm wearing something like heels,
Mhm.
um,
Ugh.
which I hardly ever wear anyways,
I can't
um,
blame you.
like if it's like a fancy formal event, like I'll be
Mhm.
sure to bring slippers in my bag
Mhm.
because I know my feet ain't gonna like me if I'm wearing those heels 24/7, and I don't want to be barefoot. So
Listen, I think that there would be a lot of people who would rejoice if like formal heels were just done away with, because I swear to God, everybody I've ever seen go to a formal event with heels is immediately like in pain,
yep,
or switches to like flats, or just takes them off entirely. So I feel like it's this thing that nobody actually likes, but at this point we're just so used to it. It's just a normal thing.
yep, that's pretty much it. It's the one type of shoe where you just gotta suck it up sometimes, and you just gotta prepare. It's like
See?
going into like a soccer game and like
Mhm.
being like, "Okay, team, like if we win this, we all gonna go and celebrate. But if we don't win this, it's team spirit. Like we got this." So you just gotta like have like a meeting with you in your shoes and be like, "Look, guys, like if we're gonna go to this event, our toes they're gonna kill, but you know what? It's okay for now because we prepared for this."
See, there you go. There you go. That's amazing. I love it. And then I mean that's pretty much all I got, but in closing I do want to ask you one thing.
Yeah,
Other than Sebastian, if
yeah.
you had a council of wise old spirits, like people who have already died, let's go with 3. Who would they be? Like these are the spirits that you think are like, anytime you need to ask for like, oh, should I do this or not, or what should I do, like who would they be?
Oh goodness.
Could be any.
I don't know.
Oh,
I've never been asked this question before.
that's why I asked it.
Yeah.
Could be
Oh.
like it could be any designers, it could be anybody you just admire, any author or artist or musician or anything like that. Anybody who's inspired
Oh no.
you.
I don't know.
Really?
I
Okay.
I can't even think of any like the only person that's coming to my head is Michael
Uh-huh.
Jackson because like I just love his
Oh, that'll
music.
do it.
But like
There's that wait, oh, Prince?
not as much Prince. I
All
didn't
right,
really
all
like
right.
Prince music as much. But like Michael Jackson, like I've always loved his
Don't hurt
music.
her, Prince fans.
Don't worry. It's not that I don't like him. And
Oh
like
yeah.
rest in peace. But I don't know, Michael Jackson, like his music when I was young, like I loved it, but
Listen,
like
one of my life goals is still to organize a flash mob set to Thriller.
good. I
Like
hope
that,
that I can join.
like that's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know how I would organize this,
Yeah.
but this needs to happen. One of those things. But
Yeah,
okay,
but like I like his
mhm.
music. I played a game, like an old arcade game,
Oh my god,
Michael Jackson
Moonwalker!
Moonwalker.
Oh
Yes.
my god, that game!
It's so good.
Listen, if there's anything that needs a modern HD remake, it's Moonwalker.
I agree with that. And there
Oh
was
my
like
god,
another
it's so
Just Dance,
sick.
like a Just Dance version of Michael Jackson like dancing,
Oh, that'll do it.
also good. So,
That's amazing. All right.
yeah.
I mean, hey, that's good enough for me. All right. In closing, once again, this has been Pleiades for Treasure Box Press. This has been
Yay.
the wonderful ever excited and motivated Alexia. Anything you want to plug coming up?
Um, I'm I'm still working on more blogs, and I've got a really cool collaboration coming actually. I'm hoping that'll be ready for July or August. I haven't announced it yet, but it's with another designer, so it's gonna be cool. So
There we go.
stay
There we go. There we
tuned.
go. Oh, wait. Didn't you say you were planning on some sort of challenge or something coming up in June too?
Yes, I have a contest coming as well. So I'll give a sneak peek to what that contest is all about. It's like a character concept contest.
Mm-hmm.
So people will use any of my characters that they like and then just let
Okay.
their creativity flow. They can make an outfit based on it, they can draw a picture, they can make a song, they can do a dance, they can do a makeup look. It's open to all creativity, and all anyone has to do is just let their creativity flow using one of my characters and they can win a prize.
Perfect. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Lexi, it's been wonderful having you on. Thanks
Yeah,
again.
thank
Here's
you so
hoping we can
much
do it
for
again soon, huh?
joining or for having me join.
Thanks again. And I guess just signing off. See you, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yay!